Nerdrotic.com.
Welcome back to the Nerdrotic podcast. My name is Gary Buechler. I come to you from Nerdrotic.com, and we are live in San Francisco, and I'm with my co-host Dennis Bithoulkas down in San Diego. What is up, Dennis?
I'm doing good. Well, considering the day that we've had, but yeah, I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing all right. Glad to be alive. It's been a crazy day. As we're recording this, it's Monday, October 2nd, and we've had a shooting in Vegas, which was horrible, which we're really not going to talk about. This is why you come here. It's for escapism. Okay.
Even though we do start off with death, so it is
start out with death, but especially with the first death, that guy lived a good long life, and it's more of a celebration of let's start off with that one.
Yeah. So Tom Petty, while technically right now he's not dead, probably by the time of this airing of this podcast, he will be. He had a cardiac arrest at age 66, and right now he's in the hospital on a do not resuscitate and not expected to make it through the day, unfortunately.
Yeah, and it was reported early that he did die, and then they retracted, and I guess it was Rolling Stone.
It's been various people. I mean, TMZ, I hate to say it, they've been the one that's been right on it, on the point of all of this stuff, all this news. And they were the ones who said, no, he's not dead. He's still alive. And various people have been going back and forth about, whether he's passed away or not. And it's just been updated that no, he still is. Basically, he's getting ready to pass.
Love or hate TMZ, they are rarely wrong about celebrity stuff. I find they're like that guy is connected as hell. Stupid show. I hate his little dumb drinks and talking in the newsroom, and I basically loathe what they do, but they are good at what they do. Okay. Yeah. So I just want to read real quick Tom Petty's daughter's Instagram to Rolling Stone, because it's pretty epic for reporting on her father's death. At Rolling Stone, my dad is not dead yet. Your fucking magazine is shit. Your slime has been pieces of tabloid dog shit. You put the worst artists on your covers, do zero research. How dare you report my father has died just to get press because your articles and photos are so dated. I will fucking shit down your throat and your families. Try not being a Trump vibe. This is my father, not a celebrity, an artist, a human being. Fuck you. Wow. That's going to get us demonetized. Holy shit. I like her. Okay. I'm just going to say that right now. I feel bad for her, and her dad was awesome, great artist. Got to see him once at a festival, and he was amazing. He's never been my favorite, but I actually like a lot of his later stuff. I like the Traveling Wilburys. Really loved his stuff with that. His stuff produced by Jeff Lynne from ELO, which is his later '80s stuff.
I've got the greatest hits for, I like the greatest hits stuff of Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. And I think I even had his last album that had, Last Dance with Mary Jane was on the greatest hits version. So
it is. And he got a second wind. He was he had like some really rockin' early 80s tunes. And then he turned kind of folky and poppy in the later 80s, being produced by Jeff Lynne. But the music videos, Don't Come Around Here No More with the Alice in Wonderland. That gave him the second one. And they were really cutting edge videos, and they were amazing videos that stand up today, and just surrealism and a great artist. And
he also had the controversial one where he's smoking pot, in the video. But back in the 90s.
Controversial. Now they have people eating edibles on network TV on the Orville. Yeah. So we come a long way, baby. So Tom Petty, and if he turns out being alive, I mean, that's fucking awesome. Thank you.
I hope it happens.
I do. Second guy, I don't feel the same way about.
So Hugh Heffner passed away at 91 from natural causes. Of course, created Playboy, Playboy Enterprises, and honestly, without him, the sexual revolution, I think would have been a little more stunted, to tell you the truth. So I give him that, at least.
I could agree with that. He pushed things out in the fold and he started it. I actually will make the argument Larry Flint did just as much.
Oh yeah, Larry Flint definitely
Um,
pushed the envelope on it, but
I think
without Hugh Hefner to kind of start it.
what I don't understand is feminists used to hate him and then they called it empower. I just don't understand. He objectified women, period. End of story. There's no walking around that. Now, how I feel about it is irrelevant because I'm not a woman, but you know, I never revered the dude. I respected his business savvy, but he was still a pornographer at heart. And you know, all these I've read multiple tweets and everybody's like, that's the kind of life I want to live. I wish I'd have lived. You go, Hef. And I mean, idealistically, sure, as a dude, as a really basic dude, I can kind of get that thinking. That would never be a life I wanted to live. The money, sure, but like that life, and yeah, I'm living the life I want to live. But so, I mean, I don't think that should be revered. I think the business aspect of it, fuck yeah, as an entrepreneur, fuck yeah, I total respect for that. But you know,
Bill Maher, who's actually, you know, was a best friend, you know, Hugh Hefner was his best friend. He had mentioned on his show, Real Time on HBO. I just happened to catch it right after Hugh Hefner had died. And he was like, you know, everyone keeps saying, oh, you know, he lived this glamorous life. He's like, no, he actually really didn't. He was just kind of a normal guy. And every party, like every Playboy party, you think there's all the sex going on and all this stuff because no one's getting laid. Hef, maybe. But even then, it was like not all the time.
Neither Bill Maher and Hugh Hefner can comment on a lot of things, a lot more things than me. Being normal guys are the last thing they can comment on.
Oh, I know that.
Bill Maher is one of the biggest hypocrites in Hollywood. If you dig deep into like some of the stuff he's been accused of, which is just allegations, so I won't go into. But and he's got a good show and everything, but yeah, Hefner, there's good and bad with him, like with everybody,
with everyone,
you know. But for him to, you know, die a hero, I don't know about that. I really don't.
No, I don't think he died a hero, honestly. I mean, it's, you know,
he was a guy who lived a very interesting life, worthy of many autobiographies. And, you know, actually, it's the entrepreneurial spirit that, you know, that you can pull off in this country if you have the right idea. And he did. He started out wanting to be a comic artist.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
What happens.
Yeah, that's what happens. Damn comic artists. Ooh, watch out for them. Yeah. Degenerates. All right. What else we got?
So, October 7th, this October 7th, McDonald's is going to be bringing back a slew of classic sauces, including, and this is honestly because of Rick and Morty, they're bringing back the classic Szechuan sauce from Mulan that they did in the 90s, along with some limited edition artwork. It's very weird. And you have to actually look up on the website to find out where this is being done. Like, there's only one place that's serving the Szechuan sauce in San Diego itself. Along with this artwork, I think there's only 1,000 pieces of artwork, and they're doing it at one time, one day.
What, like McDonald's?
The McDonald's over on El Cajon Boulevard.
In El Cajon?
Yeah.
Or on El Cajon Boulevard. That's not necessarily in El Cajon.
Yeah.
Is it like near San Diego's or near San Diego State? Kind of,
you know where the
there?
chicken pot pie place is?
Yeah, man. So that's okay. It's the normal heights.
Yeah.
So it's an abnormal heights.
Yeah. And so it's going to be
pot pie place was awesome, dude.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah,
I've been there.
That was good shit.
So yeah, it's going to be fairly weird. And I think it's going to be really super crowded. And I think it's kind of stupid doing it one day only and at a certain time. But hey, everyone needs that Szechuan sauce. I gotta have it.
You gotta have this. Gotta have it. That's fine. Oh, God, you know, our family friends used to own the McDonald's on Delmar Heights, or no, the one at the Delmar Fairgrounds. So
Okay.
that's that. And right, that used to be the busiest McDonald's in the country in the 80s. Back in the 80s, they owned it. And they got so freaking rich, and they were just like a little middle class family that bought a franchise, and then now they have mansions in Rancho Santa Fe and stuff. So good for them.
I honestly think that because and also they're only going to give you, I think, a little thing of Szechuan sauce. So, those things I think are going to become the new Bitcoin.
Is Mr. Robot season 3 going to be surrounded by Szechuan sauce?
I wouldn't be surprised. I don't even think Mr. Robot.
You should be able to get a Pickle Rick toy with it. That would be cool. And your happy awesome. Meal and your unhappy meal. Your unhappy meal. There you go. You can have that one for free, McDonald's.
I think it's been done before, the unhappy meal.
Yeah. But not with Pickle Rick in it.
Not with a Pickle Rick, no. Amazon Studios is going to go into self-distribution of films, and they're going to start with a Woody Allen film.
Well, we were talking about the Amazon thing. Jeff Bezos is slowly becoming the richest man in the world. I think he already is. I just don't think he wants to tell anybody. They are getting too big and they need to be broken up. But that aside, Amazon can just destroy Netflix whenever it wants. And I think it's just about to. Everybody's trying to use the Netflix model, but I think you and I have been basically saying, at least for the last year anyway, Amazon is a million times better. It is a million times better. I watch way more Amazon, and it's a better deal. $99 a year, and you get the free shipping, and you get all the streaming. Doctor Who's on there now. Mr. Robot's on there. Season 1 and 2. The Expanse. I mean, they've just got all the best freaking shows right now. Plus, you can rent a movie for a couple bucks. It's amazing. It's freaking amazing. And HBO.
Put your video library on there, digital video library, and all that stuff.
Yeah, you can host it all on your phone now, and it's easy. And my God, it's scary how big that company is getting. I'll say it again. Remember how much shit Walmart used to get?
Oh yeah.
I mean, this is the Amazon plays way dirtier than Walmart. Yeah. I mean, way dirtier.
And they treat their customers, their employees a lot shittier too.
They do. Walmart. Oh, they do. I live roughly.
Allegedly.
Warehouse. Amazon's in Seattle, but they have a big warehouse down pretty close to me in South San Francisco,
over in Bayshore.
Yeah, and there's things, but otherwise,
allegedly.
But the Woody Allen thing, dude, that is like, it's like, oh, it's good to hear that. No, you're starting out with Woody Allen, and there's no allegedly about this. No, it's no secret if you're a friend of mine that I do not like Woody Allen at all, ever. Used to like his films a lot. I used to take the money and run. Used to show on KTLA Channel 5 in LA all the freaking time. I always watched it. It was a freaking hilarious movie. And then he married his stepdaughter. And then the worst thing about it is the praise he got by the same people who would ostracize Mel Gibson or ostracize other people for making mistakes. But we're a forgiving crew here, drinking and stuff like that. But that, like, when it comes to that, draw the line. Sorry, not so forgiving. And if people have a problem with that, don't give a shit.
Yep, I don't either. Moving on to something happier.
Yeah.
Image Comics, their comic Deadly Class is now heading to sci-fi as a TV series spearheaded by the Russo brothers producing.
This is going to be good.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I don't know if you know what Deadly Class is, but like basically a school of assassins where, they come in and they learn how to become assassins. Kids, essentially, if you will. It's going to be a lot of fun, I think.
It's probably like
kids,
it's probably pined off of some anime. It sounds like an anime concept to me, which is not bad.
Very anime-ish. Yes.
Battle Royale and what's the other one now? That's there's a really popular. I'm forgetting the name. My Hero Academia or whatever that one's really popular now. Yeah, it's apparently really, really good. So yeah, the Russos are involved. Hell yeah, it's gonna be good. Totally,
I'm all for it.
I believe in those guys.
Now on to something shitty. Well, not shitty, but who knows?
It's gonna be shitty.
Kung Fu is getting a reboot over at Fox with a female lead set in the 1950s with Greg Berlanti producing. I loved your face on that one. That's why I started laughing.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's like, will this trend never end? I mean, like, we're getting really obscure with the stuff now. They're doing the nice guys with women now. And it's like, it worked for Bridesmaids. It really did. They just took the Hangover script and made it for girls. That's great.
Thing is, they're not, even the Nice Girls isn't even set in the 70s, so it's set in now. And I'm just like, oh, why don't you just remake Cagney and Lacey? Because that's pretty much what it is.
That's fun. Oh my God.
Just call it Cagney and Lacey and just get it over with, you know?
It's the
I'd be all for it.
Shit in the world. This is beyond remaking stuff. This is, I mean, Hollywood is truly out of ideas, man.
Well, you remember back in the 90s, they had Kung Fu: The Next Generation that lasted for a long time on, what was it? It wasn't the CW, it was what the CW's precursor, UPN.
UPN, yes.
Yeah. And they had two different versions of it. They started one that they tried setting in the Old West, like a sequel to Kung Fu with David Carradine. Both had David Carradine in it. So the first one that was set in the Old West actually had Brandon Lee in it.
Mm-hmm.
It crashed and burned. And then we had, Kung Fu: The Next Generation, which was set in modern times, which inexplicably had Kane in there as well. Transported to modern time, to 90s, with his, who was a detective. It just didn't make any sense. But hey, it ran for a couple of years. So
everything in the 90s had to have a detective. Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, everything in the 70s, 80s, and 90s had to have a detective. That was just like the go-to. Was a private eye. There was more private eyes in Hollywood than there was real private eyes.
In the 60s, 70s, and 80s, everything was a Quinn Martin production as well.
Yes.
Oh or Larson. Yeah.
Glenn A. Larson. Yes. And Spelling.
So
Aaron Spelling had some stuff too.
Aaron Spelling, yeah, he had a couple of things in there.
He had
all
the soapy soaps.
So going on to the reboot rampage here, the Lucifer showrunner and Lionsgate, they're going to be rebooting Flight of the Navigator. I don't know why.
That wasn't a good movie. I think kids remember it like really young. Like that was really like they're like 7 and 8 year olds probably went to that thinking it was just awesome. It was a bad movie.
It was a bad movie. It was disturbing too, because I mean it's a 12-year-old kid who gets abducted by a UFO. He's gone for 8 years and comes, or 8 or 10 years, I can't remember what it was. He comes back, he hasn't aged, and basically his parents are like, "What the hell, man? You're back?" It's very disturbing.
Yeah, it's well, they could probably make a nice dark version of it now. It'd probably be better now. You know what? I've always held out the belief if you're going to remake something bad. So go for it. I mean, because you can only go up. So why not?
Fail upwards.
It worked for Battlestar. I mean, I liked the original Battlestar, but it wasn't good. It was not good. It was the one boat in space. I mean, that's what it
was. Speaking of failing upwards, ABC really wanted to cancel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. after this last season, season 4.
Funny shit, man.
But Disney wouldn't let them.
No. Disney is just, oh man, if you go back and watch our Inhumans podcast, we go down the rabbit hole, and I love that other podcasters are saying the same shit. Just didn't sound like a crazy person, or we didn't sound like crazy people. But there is,
sound like crazy people.
There is a fucking major power struggle going on in Disney, and Iger is losing control because he's too busy running for president, not being a CEO of a major company. And Perlmutter and Kevin Feige are at each other's throats right now. And Inhumans was made to sabotage Marvel, to sabotage Kevin Feige, not Marvel. Perlmutter wants control. And actually technically kind of should have it, but and he got imported with the Marvel sale. Okay. So, and he was the reason the TV universe split with the movie years, but I actually think that they're going to lead the TV show into Infinity War and going into space. So I think Iger actually came down, and I think he might be behind this. There's no way but this is going to piss off everybody at ABC. I wouldn't be surprised if whoever's running ABC quits in the next 2 years or so.
Or gets replaced.
Because I mean, like CEO guys, so you're still a CEO. They don't like getting cut, even if it's by your CEO. I mean, the egos in Hollywood are unfucking believable. So if you really want to get to somebody, just make them look bad for 2 seconds, and they will. And I mean, like in Hollywood, these will be guys who grew up together as kids. Like their families knew each other, but man, if they get into Hollywood and then somebody makes another person look bad, that friendship is over forever, man. It is brutal there. So, and you could do all kinds of stuff. You can have sex with somebody's sister, get caught for drugs, hide a body. But if you make somebody look bad in Hollywood, you're done. It's crazy. So this is fascinating to watch, man. This is, and who knows, this might be the good season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., like the one that was supposed to get canceled. That's how it's going to happen. It's like, damn, this is actually kind of good. I mean, they roped us in before. They have.
We've had a lot of commenters on our video saying, what are you talking about? Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is bad. Look at the ratings on it. It keeps steadily dropping. This season 5, has actually been cut from 13 episodes, I believe, to 10. That doesn't happen when your show is actually good. I'm sorry to say that's what happens. And also, you don't have a major network wanting to cancel your ass and having to be saved by your parent company if you're a bad show, if you're a good show. So yeah, I'm sorry to say it's not a great show.
It's not a good, I mean, I've been roped in. I think the first season was good. I actually liked the first season.
Yeah, the first season was fun because it was tied into the movie universe. And then when they divorced themselves from the movie universe, it all went to hell.
Yeah. And Daisy, who was my favorite character in the beginning, just got continuously more annoying as time went on. And
I've stuck through it. I've watched the entire all the episodes.
I've been in and out, man.
Yeah, you've been in and out. I know John doesn't watch it. I've watched everything. This last season with the whole Agents of Hydra thing, good God, that was fucking boring. I'm sorry. I know everyone loved it, but it went on way too long, like about 8 episodes, way too long, and should have just ended. It should have been like a 3-episode arc, and that's it, and been done, and started over with a new arc. But no, it just dragged on, and I know everyone loves it. I'm sorry to say, it's not good. You might like it. That's fine. That's great. I didn't, but and obviously ABC didn't either.
Yeah, I didn't see it, so I cannot comment. I actually kind of liked some of the Ghost Rider stuff, but I was like out when he left, and then I watched when he came back. I'm that one episode huge Ghost Rider fan. Okay, I mean, I am unapologetically a Ghost Rider fan. I like both the movies, and yeah, I'm crazy for it. But I love Ghost Rider.
That was Ghost Driver.
Even Ghost Driver, I like. Okay, I like, except for the. I love the absolute racist, like they're trying to like be diverse and get another character, which is great. But you know what? There is such a thing as a Mexican American lawyer. Okay. You didn't have to put him in Lavadio and his brother's a gang member, or they're trying to escape gangs and he's a mechanic. That is a,
no, that wasn't racist at all.
No, not at all. No, of course not. Because
he says he takes a big drink of Jack Daniels and Coke.
Yeah. Yeah. Jesus Christ. Yeah, that part. And I know that's from the comic. Okay, so you can't blame the show for that. Yeah. But I still like it. And yeah, I'm not this big, like, it has to be Johnny Blaze. You know, I actually, Danny Cage was Ghost Rider for many years and liked him too.
Even female Ghost Rider was actually pretty badass for a while there.
Yeah. I mean, it's the one thing you can pass down as a mantle that's actually totally believable. So, the Spirit of Vengeance, you got to love it. And oh my God, do I love that second Ghost Riders movie. I am the only person in the world who likes it, but damn, I like that movie.
You know what's better than the first movie? I have to admit.
Better. Yeah. It's way better. It was, I don't know. I just liked it.
Except for the whole Christopher Lambert part. That was just really weird. that whole shit right there, that 15 minutes in there in the middle,
that weird monk thing.
Yeah, the whole weird monk thing.
There can be only one.
So I don't know if you had a chance to take a look at it, but we have a trailer for Anniliation with Natalie Portman and Jennifer Jason Leigh.
You
It
can
was
tell us
actually
about it though.
it's really good. It's set in a so there's an area on Earth called Area X that no one can go into. They haven't been into for a decade or a couple of decades. And what this is the laws of physics don't seem to work. So the first group that they sent in, I believe, went crazy. And basically, all these groups they keep sending in, something happens to them. Like some get cancer, some don't come back, some kill each other. And so this group that's going in is Natalie Portman's character, or her husband, disappeared in there. And it's just very, very weird. The visuals and stuff like that.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Yeah.
So is this place they're going to, Area X, is it like in mountains by any chance?
It's like in Africa.
Okay, because this sounds a lot like the incident in the Ural Mountains that happened in Russia back in the 50s. Continue going, then I'll come.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what they're kind of basing
it on. Yeah, because that's crazy.
It's a book that people pretty much said, I don't know how you're going to make this book or make this into a movie. And the visuals are just pretty amazing just for the first trailer alone. So we have the trailer up. Take a look at it on our site. Tell us what you think, because it's actually it's fairly interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing this more.
I will definitely take a look on your recommendation, Dennis.
Yeah. So then we also have Len Wiseman is going to adapt Underworld for a TV series.
You know, this might actually work because like the movies were so mediocre.
Yeah.
I mean, like they're back in they were perfect January movies. You know what I mean? I know they didn't all come out in January, but like when nothing else is on and it's like, oh man, I want to go to a movie. Okay, I'll go see Underworld. I saw one in London. Saw the first one in London. Yeah, first one when I was jet lagged, and I liked it, but I was like delirious. So
back in the 90s, there was a TV show on Fox called Vampire the Masquerade.
Yes, there was.
Which is pretty much Underworld.
Yes, it is.
So obviously Len Wiseman never saw that, or he's not copying to it. And that's pretty much what they're going to be making. They're going to be making a reboot of Underworld or Vampire the Masquerade.
Why not? Is it what's it going to be on? Is it going to be on Fox?
Right now, they just say he's adapting it for TV. They don't have a network. He's just adapting it.
Okay. So it's still it's Len Wiseman's trying to get as much mileage out of his property that was mediocre. It would probably make it look good like video game or comic book, but
it made a lot of money because I don't know if you know.
Sure he did.
The big dude with the deep voice who plays the werewolf in there, the African American guy.
Yeah,
he's actually the guy who wrote this story. He's the one who created it. I don't know if you knew that.
Nope.
So yeah, he's made a shitload of money off of that.
Well, they've made what 4 or 5 movies? 4 movies? Yeah, they've had to have made money.
I think 4 movies. Yeah,
4 movies. I've seen 3 of the 4. So
me too. Right. So Lord and Miller are going to direct Andy Weir, the guy who did The Martian. They're going to direct his latest book, Artemis, which means that they have left the Flash movie, which they were attached to direct because it's been taking too long in production, which means that the Flash movie now has a script but no directors or director.
Yeah, are you surprised, especially with the news today, which we're going to get into very shortly? Are you surprised? I highly doubt there will be a Flash movie.
I don't think there's going to be a Flash movie either, and I honestly don't want to see a Flash movie with this person or with Ezra Miller as the Flash. I don't think he looks the part. I don't think he acts the part. He's not Barry Allen to me. He really isn't.
No, he's more of a
Wally West. He's kind of more Wally West-ish, if you will.
Yeah, and they've already talked about they're going to have Iris West in the Justice League, and they cut her out. She's on the cutting room floor with Darkseid and Lex Luthor.
And she wasn't even going to be part of the world. Somehow or another, her character wasn't going to be from that world. She was going to be from another Earth, which was very kind of odd.
Well, I think that was to explain that weird scene in Superman and Batman where Flash comes in and goes, Lois is the key and stuff like that. Like, I don't think that's going to actually have anything to do with the Justice League movie now.
Flashpoint stuff, yeah.
Yeah, they needed to explain that. And that was supposed to lead into the Flashpoint stuff, which I don't think they're going to do now. I mean, like, tell us the big news of the day.
So the big news of the day is that the DCEU, the movies that were supposedly supposed to tie everything together, are now going to be standalone movies. The standalone movies are going to be part of the DCEU universe, supposedly, but they're not going to be tied to each other. If that makes sense to you.
So another week goes by and DC changes its plans again. Are you surprised? Now, we have a very long tradition in this podcast of bitching about the the latter name DCEU. I was actually going back, I re-listened to our first podcast, and it was like the third subject we started bashing on Superman versus Batman. That was back in 2014. So this has been going on for a long time. This is a failed experiment, DC. For one, they couldn't even decide on a name. The DCEU is not the official name of the universe. They don't.
I know.
It's the DC film universe.
Yeah. So DCEU, the DCEU actually came about from fans.
It came from a reporter, apparently.
Yeah.
So and it stuck. So that's what it is, and that's what we're going to continue to call it. DC, you gotta brand yourself. You can't let reporters brand you. And then the constant changing. Now, I guess you said they backtracked on this a little bit. Now,
yeah, because originally it was said that none of the standalone movies were going to be connected at all to the DCEU, and they said no. They all are part of the DCEU. They're just not connected to each other, because like you're going to have the Harley Quinn versus Joker movie, which isn't going to have Batman in it. So even though it's part of the Batman universe, it's not going to have Batman in it. If that made any sense.
It doesn't make sense. But what does make sense is we have a clear, we know what makes these things work. And what I mean by these things is cinematic universes. You need a singular creative voice in charge. You need a dictator. You need a Kevin Feige.
Yep.
And Jeff Johns is just not, he's a nice guy. So he's not going to be a ball buster. Okay.
So it came out also that Jeff Johns, and I honestly can't remember. I want to say it's Denise is her name. I can't remember her last name. They both were working at DC at the time, and they saw the script for Man of Steel, and they both said it's too dark. It's not the character. And they were both basically kind of pushed aside by the Warner Brothers executives. And that's why Man of Steel happened, why it was so dark, and why we got the Snyder Murderverse instead.
Yeah, but now they are. Jeff Johns is kind of in charge, but not fully. In charge.
Not fully in charge. No.
So they need to have a Chris Nolan come back. I mean, fine, have Chris Nolan.
Bruce Timm. They need a Bruce Timm with an iron hand. Honestly.
Yeah, I don't think Bruce Timm has the iron hand, though. I mean, I just don't. I wish he did. I would be completely behind that. But they need a producer. They need and not a Kathleen Kennedy. They need a creative producer. Somebody who's been part of the creative process, not just the producing process, which is completely different. They need somebody singularly in charge, which I don't know who they could get. I don't know who's out there. That needs to happen soon, or this thing's going to fall apart. Now, again, we talked about this last podcast. I think we could still get some very good movies out of this. I think that we could get some gems like a Red Sun or a Dark Knight Returns with Michael Keaton, or a Batman Beyond with that. What was it?
Who I said?
The voice of Batman, Kevin Conroy, said he wants to play Batman in the Batman Beyond movie, which give him a chance, dude. Why the hell not? You do all kinds of fun stuff now, and it's getting more sophisticated. Like I think Logan really did push the bar.
Yeah,
for superhero movies. So
now that Joss Whedon is actually in the DCEU, maybe he could be that voice. You know, that unifying.
That's a possibility. Yeah, but the thing is, he buckles under pressure, man. I mean,
he does. But I think if you put him in as producer instead of director, writer, all that kind of stuff, and where he just kind of oversees everything, keeps them playing nice together, that would be more of his strong suit.
Well, considering recent accusations, I don't know if that's a possibility. I just don't. I think he would be. No, I don't think he would be. He crumpled under the second Avengers, and he was a major part of the creative process of getting the Marvel Cinematic Universe started. Him, Edgar Wright. It's funny because it was him, Edgar Wright, Joe Quesada, Kevin Feige were all in the beginning the ones who got this, and Jon Favreau, and the only one standing right now is Kevin Feige.
Yeah,
out of this whole bunch now. Kevin Feige looks like this really nice guy in the screen, but he's a ball buster when like the camera's not on, man. And that's good. That's good. This guy loves Marvel, and he's coming out with some good stuff. I hope it's Joss Whedon. I think that would be really good. Why not give it a shot, or not get Matthew Vaughn? But I mean, that ship has sailed now. So
I don't know. I think it's still open because he still keeps pitching the Superman movie.
He is, but I mean, they've been pitching it forever. I think he's going to go to Miller World with
World
with Mark Millar and do some really fun stuff at Netflix, like Jupiter's Legacy, which would be awesome. Oh God,
Nemesis. Oh God, Nemesis, can you imagine Nemesis?
Redoing Wanted correctly would be very nice.
Doing Nemesis as a dark Batman. It's basically dark Batman. It's really what it is. And I would love to see that because it was just such a good book.
It was. Jupiter Legacy is like Watchmen ongoing though, but it's like, and fucking good. It's so good. It's a very interesting story. So yeah, the DCU is, like we've been saying all along. For one, it should be clear. I know it came out earlier that the execs saw Justice League and they were absolutely crazy about the cut. It's amazing and everything. But then this news comes out, and it furthers the belief that Justice League is going to be a giant steaming pile of crap. Do I want it to be? No, I want it to be good. No. I want to enjoy it. And if it is, will I say I was wrong? Absolutely. Absolutely. No problem doing that whatsoever. I just calling it how I see it right now.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, there's so many different templates that they could use. And we've said this before. Just follow the fucking animated series, for God's sake. That's all you got to do. You have the template out there. It's been not the majority of people have seen the animated series. I guess you could say the out and out normal people out there that don't read comics, don't watch, animated stuff. They haven't seen it. So it's going to be fresh to them. It's going to be surprising to them. It's good stuff. Copy it, for God's sakes. Make it into a fucking live action movie.
Hey, you know what most of the Marvel Cinematic Universe is based on? It's based on two things. The Ultimate Marvel Universe, a little bit of the original universe, and a lot of the animated series, especially Iron Man. Iron Man uses a lot of it. You're right. It's out there. I mean, there's tons of comics you can emulate. For Christ's sake, emulate the fucking Arkham Asylum if you want to. That's good too. But you have Justice League Unlimited. If you want to do a DCEU, just base it on that. Yeah. That's fine.
If I was going to do Justice League,
do Justice League Unlimited.
If I was going to do Justice League, I'd do the Ron Thungar War.
Yeah.
As the lead-in. That's how you get everyone to join together.
Yeah. That's brilliant right there.
Yeah.
Done.
You don't need Apocalypse. You can lead into Apocalypse later on. That's your third movie, if you will. But you do the Ron Thungar War. That gets everyone together. You have this big epic battle. That's how you do it.
Yeah. So I'll be there opening night for Justice League, and hopefully it's good. I've got my fingers crossed, but it's not looking like it, And there's stuff in the DCU that's been good, that has great potential. I don't hate Ben Affleck as Batman. I kind of wish he'd stay. I think it'd be really bad to change him right now. And if you were going to change him, then you got to change him back to Christian Bale. That'd be your only move that would work. Man, it's going to be. Ooh, they're wasting time too. They don't have a lot of time to make these movies. Things change. Yep. Things change a lot. So
trends change.
So
that's pretty much all I've got.
Yeah, that was that's be a short little podcast. We got so many podcasts to do. And actually, I'm not going to give you our big exiting crawl because I'm going to cut a video. But all of our descriptions are in the link. And I just want to really comment real quick. We had a Star Trek video. Star Trek Discovery. We did a recap of it last night, and it was the most divisive thing we've ever done. I cannot believe it. But Star Trek it's proof that there is still tons of Star Trek fans out there, and they are in two camps right now. It's pretty crazy. And I tend to side with the original, like the Trekkies or Trekkers. That's who. I mean, we tried to ride the fence as much as we could on that podcast, and I don't want to be I was pretty negative about the show last night, and there is some good elements to it, but it's mostly bad. And now that I caught up on the Orville, Yeah, and the Orville is actually pretty good. I actually ended up enjoying. I didn't like the first episode, but the next 3 were really pretty good. I liked, especially the one that just aired was really, really good.
Especially with the cameo. I mean, the cameo at the end.
Oh,
I was like,
wow! Oh my god, that was really cool. Yeah, No, I am enjoying it a lot, and I don't like Seth MacFarlane's writing. I'm not a Family Guy fan, and I'm not a big fan of his acting. But I think the rest of the crew really makes up for him, and he, the really light jokes, I think it actually works, man. So I've come around on the Orville. Star Trek Discovery, I'm going to totally give it a full season. I'm going to give, because it's Star Trek, because you know what? Next Generation did not start out well either. I know.
No, it didn't.
But they had a really rough beginning. But because it's Star Trek, I will give it way more of a chance than I would give anything else. So I hope.
I can't do it just because it's on a pay station. That's all.
There's ways around that, but honestly, I was talking to my son about this. $5.99 is not much. Now I know you're paying $5.90. You're getting $5.99 to death out there, but if you think about, like, you get full access to CBS and all their catalog, and you get to watch you get to watch every Star Trek ever made. It's not a bad deal. It's really not. $5.99 a month is not a bad deal.
So they get all the Star Treks ever made because they're on Netflix already. So,
but they're not going to be on Netflix for long.
True. I mean, I'll wait until the entire season drops of Discovery, and then I'll pay the $5.99. I'll binge watch it, and then I'll be done.
Like, I'm done watching Star Trek, by the way. I've watched the original series more times than I can count, and all the other ones, and I wasn't a big fan. I think if I was going to rewatch one and I had to pick one series, it'd be DS9. I'd probably rewatch DS9 because I didn't watch that very much. And I would never watch Enterprise. I'm never an Enterprise fan. So,
I'm telling you, the later after season 2, Manny Cotto did a good job.
And I'm not a big fan of prequels anyway. I just, I watch them because that's all they give me. I wish they would give me something later, but I don't know. I'm very intrigued about the Khan series, though, even though it's a prequel. I don't know. I'm kind of looking forward to that one. So,
is that going to be on CBS All Access?
Yeah, that's going to be. I'm forgetting his name right now. The guy who directed Star Trek 2, Nicholas Meyer.
Oh yeah,
I forget his name. And did Star Trek 6, my 2 favorite Star Trek movies. And that guy just knows Trek. I mean, that's the guy who should be in charge of Trek. Period. End of story. I mean, he's the guy. If he's still around, I mean, him or Ronald D. Moore, who's doing it out. Ronald D. Moore should be in charge, actually. But there you go. But hey, thanks for everybody for watching and commenting on that.
Yes,
good or bad, we appreciate your time and thank you very much. And hey, we're harsh on this podcast, but I'm forgiving. I can turn around, the second episode of American Gods and the second episode of Legion, we fucking hated, but we ended up loving the show. I ended up loving both shows. By the end, I was like, "Ooh, I'm a fan. I'm in." So, it goes episode by episode, day by day, one day at a time. That's how I live my life. I'm a friend of Bill W. Yeah. Anything else, Dennis?
All I have left to say is don't let the door hit your ass on the way out, America.
And may the small folks sing songs of your greatness. Be safe, everybody.
Everyone.
Crazy out there right now.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, the podcast isn't over just yet. Since the recording last Monday, a couple things have dropped. It is currently 11:12 p.m. San Francisco time on Thursday night, and it appears The Punisher has been delayed, not indefinitely. Some reports say later this fall, some say 2018. One has said 1 year from now. I can't argue with any of those, actually. There's nothing much to say other than this is a good and respectful move. And this is due to the Las Vegas shooting, obviously, and the subject matter of The Punisher, which is a lot of shooting and guns. So this would not really look good for them to put this out right now, and I think it's pretty obvious. So good move. Screen Rant reports that Netflix and Marvel TV have reportedly pushed back the series premiere of The Punisher in the wake of the mass shooting that occurred in Las Vegas earlier this week. Frank Castle, aka The Punisher, played by The Walking Dead's Jon Bernthal, made his official MCU debut in the second season of Netflix Daredevil last year, and fan reception to the character as well as subsequent petitions convinced Netflix to pursue a full-fledged series for the famed anti-hero. Yeah, I was really looking forward to this. We were going to podcast every episode, still are. Just, good move. It was just horrible what happened, and the country is reeling right now, and we need escapism, but not of this kind. So good move, guys, and it comes out when it comes out. No worries. Second thing I want to talk about was I just got back from Blade Runner. I went to see Blade Runner with my friend Doug when I was 12 years old. I actually saw it in the theater. I was one of the precious few. I'm sure this is turning into people. A lot of people used to say they went to Woodstock, but they really didn't. And I think this is kind of our equivalent to that. Like a lot of people said they went to Blade Runner when they didn't. I saw the initial theatrical cut with with Harrison Ford narrating and them driving off in the forest at the end. Two things I distinctly remember was being really pissed that the actual Vangelis soundtrack didn't come out. They had some German orchestra cover it. They did an okay job, but the actual soundtrack didn't come out until 1994. Another thing that blew me away was the entire movie. It was so beautiful. I loved every second of it. It changed how I watch movies. Harrison Ford was the coolest man alive before I saw that. After I saw that, it put him through the stratosphere to me. I wanted to be him. I wanted to act like him. I loved Harrison Ford, and I loved every bit of this movie. Now, this movie came out to a very cool reception. I remember hating Siskel and Ebert for not liking the movie, and if you don't believe me, go back and watch their initial review. It's pretty rough. And I remember when E.T. beat it for visual effects at the Academy Awards the following year, I had a complete meltdown, and that was the starting of the hate part of my love-hate of Hollywood. At such a young age, too, so jaded. I bought into the hype of this movie. When I initially heard that we're doing a sequel, I was like, you gotta be kidding me. What? I mean, they've truly run out of ideas. And, I was like, where are you going to go with this? And then lately, I watched a Collider video. I watched a couple other videos, and they were praising it. And then I saw it was at 98% on the tomato meter. Currently, it's at 90%, but it's still really high. And I was like, damn, right on. This is actually going to be good. I was wrong. Oh, awesome. So my wife and I made a date night out of it, had a little Mexican food at West Portal, went and saw the movie, and we were bored to death. Now, I'm not going to get into details or spoil anything for you. There are some twists and turns. There is a plot that I found extremely predictable, except for a little twist. I won't even tell you when it is, but there's a twist. And you got to watch out for it. And they kind of emulate is Deckard a replicant with another twist that's a little different, but very vague. So fans can debate about it. And it's actually pretty good, to be honest with you. And they actually do set up a couple things for the next movie that would be very good. Biggest problem with this movie is it was being praised a lot by staying on scenes longer than most modern movies, which is definitely the truth, but it stayed on them way too long. This movie was almost 3 hours. You could cut 45 minutes out of it easy. There are so many scenes of people walking up slowly to doors, and the soundtrack was bloody awful and jarring at times. And that was the single most important thing to Blade Runner was the Vangelis soundtrack. It's the greatest soundtrack ever, period. Don't even argue. It just is. Okay. Or score. I will say score, not soundtrack, score. They did a lot of things different. It was very bold in their attempt at storytelling, but the execution was poor. The shots were beautiful, were absolutely beautiful. This is a very pretty movie. A lot more of it shot in daylight than I thought, but it just hung on to stuff too long, and it just dragged it out. And I'm older and more patient now, but I know the same argument can be made about the first Blade Runner movie, but man, the first Blade Runner movie looks like Crank compared to this. This was just too long, too slow. You could see the plot points coming, yeah, and it got to the point where I was just like, hurry up and get to this thing that I know is going to happen. And that's exactly what happened. And I don't know. Tell me how you guys feel. I don't want to discourage you from seeing it. Give it money. Give it a shot. I could be wrong. Just because I don't like something doesn't mean it's not good. And to round things up, I want to talk about the Deckard as a replicant debate. Now, I'm not going to tell you whether they answer that question or not, or even bring it up. What I'm going to tell you is how I felt before I watched this movie, which is I am firmly in the Deckard is not a replicant camp. Okay, he's just not. Now, I know the evidence that's out there, but it's all revisionist to me. Again, I saw the original cut. There was no unicorn dream sequence. Gaff's making of little tinfoil animals was just a calling card. That's how it was presented in the movie, and that's how it makes more sense to me. I know there's little hints beyond that, and I know Ridley Scott has come out and said he's a replicant, but he didn't write the movie, and he said this a lot later. And this debate didn't like spark right after the movies. It was Starlog that brought it up. At least I remember it. I was also 12. It came up a lot later. So, and what I'm talking about is in the later cuts of the film, there's a dream sequence where Deckard is dreaming of a unicorn, and then Gaff puts down this little tinfoil unicorn as a calling card, showing that he knows that Deckard's a replicant. My evidence that Deckard is not a replicant is he's weak. He gets his ass kicked constantly by replicants. So why would you make a replicant hunter that's weaker than replicants? If you're going to do that, then they should have talked about longer lifespans. Harrison Ford is old in the movie, but they may or may not answer that. I won't answer that question. I will let you know what I think after watching this movie in the next podcast when we get down to the spoiler territory and details. So yeah, that's it on that. Thumbs down on Blade Runner. So we based on Trek a little bit, based on this, I need to find something to be positive about, so I guess we're going to start doing the Star Trek video that's doing very well for us. There's a hot debate on that one right now, and it's a lot of it's about Axanar. So I finally went and watched Axanar all the way through. I'd seen bits and pieces, and wow, that is amazing. It is so good. And Richard Hatch, may he rest in peace, was so awesome as Karn the Klingon. I believe that was his name. Super badass, man. Oh, it sucks that they're not going to be able to do a complete one. I'm glad CBS is going to let them do something, and they settled on that. But I can definitely see where the fans are a little pissed off now at Star Trek Discovery. I definitely, I'm always going to side with the fans, but I can see their side. There's an argument to be made on both sides. You are messing with somebody's property. Try not to make any money, but man, that was good. That was solid, and I really love Star Trek Continues. That's amazing too. But yeah, that's it. I just wanted to add this before I put this podcast up. Again, we will be reviewing the Orville. I know it came out today, so we'll be reviewing it tomorrow night. But then starting next week, we'll be on time and have it right after the show. Actually, we're going to be off our live restriction on Sundays. This channel was a live stream channel. Due to a glitch, we got put in restriction for 3 months, and we couldn't fight it because I deleted the damn video. It was totally beatable. It was just a simple little mistake that they said wouldn't have been a big deal if I hadn't deleted the video. So off restriction. So each show we're going to be live within 15 minutes of the end of the episode airing. Thanks for watching, everybody. All of our links are in the description. Please hit that bell. Please subscribe. We don't ask you for money, just your undying love. And we'll see you next time. Take us out, Logan.
You have been listening to Nerdrotic Podcast. Please subscribe.